Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at what I expect to be one of the most popular rebuilds that people are going to do on FIFA 22. Of course, it's Arsenal. So Arsenal of course used to be giants of football, always perennial title challengers, but recently they've fallen off a cliff. So we're going to be talking what transfers you can make to strengthen them, what tactics you should be using if you want to play them realistically, who should be in your starting 11, and which instructions you should use to play like Arsenal. But to make the tactics, first of all, you need to know the team. So let's go through that quickly. You can skip ahead using the chapters at the bottom if you're not interested in this and just want to know about the tactics. But let's begin with the goalkeeping situation. Currently, Arsenal have 5 goalkeepers, but the chances are you're only going to want to use 2. Ramsdale is young and full of potential, and Bernd Leno is of course a notoriously good goalkeeper, although in real life it's looking likely he'll leave Arsenal very soon. If you're watching this video after January of 2022, the chances are Leno has already left after having his transfer request accepted by the Arsenal board. But if you're starting your save before then, chances are he's going to be your number 1 goalkeeper for quite a few seasons. It's definitely not an area that Arsenal need to strengthen, especially when they have such big gaps in the back 4 ahead of them. So let's have a look at that now. In terms of potential, the centre-backs at Arsenal are actually really good. Their overall ratings, however, absolutely are not. With around 10 centre-backs at the club, the following centre-backs all have over 80 potential, which is more than good enough for Arsenal. Saliba, Mavropanos, Tomiyasu, Holding, Gabriel, and Ben White. Danny Ballard and Pablo Mari are also in the high 70s, so plenty of potential at centre-back. You might, however, want to try and sign a first-choice centre-back just to cover while these players all develop, so I'll suggest one of these at the end of the video for you to sign. Fullback is a tricky position for Arsenal. They actually do use fullbacks as well as wingbacks in their squad. So you have Kieran Tierney, who can play left wingback, left centre-back and left back. Kolasinac, a similarly very strong left back. Callum Chambers and Cedric, both playing right back. And Hector Bellerin, who's out on loan currently in Spain. You could even try and play Maitland-Niles or even Bukayo Saka at fullback. So again, this is a position I don't think you need to strengthen, similarly to the goalkeeping situation. So focus on the centre-backs when you're strengthening your defence so far. Still, if you do want to strengthen your fullbacks, I will suggest a right back for you at the end of the video that I think is pretty realistic and would be a good addition to your squad. Next up, we have the defensive and central midfield players in the Arsenal squad. Again, this is actually a position there's plenty of potential in the Arsenal squad. You'll probably know Thomas Partey, he's their best central midfielder, but Sambi Lokanga has potential to be almost as good, and Guendouzi actually has potential to be better than him. In defensive midfield, Xhaka, Elneny and Akinola are all good options, with Patino and Torreira also decent if you can develop Patino. I would recommend signing a starting central defensive midfielder to play alongside Partey. So again, stay along to the end of the video and I'll suggest a new central defensive midfielder for you to sign. I barely need to mention attacking midfielder. You have Martin Odegaard, you have Emil Smith-Rowe. Both are definitely good enough to be Premier League winning players in the future, so just keep developing them, and Odegaard is already good enough to start. A common theme in this squad is having lots and lots of high potential players who just haven't quite developed, and it's no different on the wing. At left and right wing, you have 2 players both with 88 potential, Gabriel Martinelli at right mid and Bukayo Saka on the left. To show how solid this potential is, that's actually almost the exact same ratings as Salah and Mane at Liverpool. All you have to do is wait and develop them and you'll have a Premier League class wing combination with Martinelli and Saka. Both of course very fast, both good at finishing, and to be honest, both pretty good at defending as well. Although of course you do have the potential of trying to retrain Martinelli, especially as a striker, to try and fix the massive gap you've got there, which is where we're going to be moving on to next. FIFA-wise, the position of striker at Arsenal is covered by Aubameyang and Lacazette. Eddie Nketiah also pretty good, has nice potential, and Balogun also could get to a Premier League standard. In real life, however, this really isn't the case. None of them are really scoring any goals, so if you want to be realistic, you might want to try and replace one of them with a new big name. You're probably going to want to move on at least Lacazette if you do sign a new striker, because Aubameyang does cover the wings if you're not feeling playing Gabriel Martinelli or Bukayo Saka on the wing for a big important game. Of course, he does have a lot more pace, but he is turning 32 very soon, so he's going to start declining pretty fast in FIFA terms. I've actually got a suggestion for 2 different kinds of striker depending on how you want to play, and it's that part of the video where we're actually going to suggest the transfers now. So what do we need to do to strengthen Arsenal to win the Premier League? Well, we're going to focus on 2 centre-backs, a right-back, a defensive midfield starter, and a striker to replace Aubameyang when he starts getting old. So, centre-backs, we've got 2 suggestions here. You could either get De Gea, or you could go for his Belgian counterpart, Boyata. Boyata does actually have Premier League experience playing for Man City, but Arsenal have also just spent £50 million on a 76 rated Ben White. Of course he has potential, you could always develop Ben White instead of going for one of these slightly better centre-backs, but I honestly do think Arsenal need at least one of these to try and strengthen them and get them back to at least the Europa League for Season 2. Moving across from the centre of defence to the right back position, you could go for Max Aarons. They're currently playing a slow centre-back, Tomiyasu, who could be able to cover centre-back instead. Nuno Tavares, of course, has potential and is a new signing, but he is starting at 70 overall, so that's not really going to be good enough when you're coming up against someone like Salah or Mane. Max Aarons has been really good in the Championship for a couple of seasons, and although Norwich aren't performing too well this season, currently on 0 points as of recording this video, but going from the Who Scored rating, Max Aarons has actually been their 2nd best player and their best defender by quite some way, averaging a 6.7 over the first 6 games he's played, which is definitely not bad for a team that's not kept a single clean sheet. If you want to keep more clean sheets, consider signing a central defence midfielder to pair up with Thomas Partey. My suggestion would be Bruno Guimaraes. In real life, of course, Arsenal have just signed Sambi Lokanga, but he definitely doesn't have very good FIFA stats. He's slow, he's weak, and he's not very good on the ball, so you're not going to really want to be using him. Whereas Bruno Guimaraes, pretty good going forwards, a lot quicker, not quite as strong, but a very good option, and I think he's Premier League ready. Moving forward to striker, and I'll give you 2 options. One of them is pretty realistic and linked with them in real life. The other might even see Arsenal as a down step, but we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who of course, big target man, focal point for your wingers, good potential himself, and English. And we've also got Amine Gouiri. So this guy used to be a winger, he's recently transitioned into a striker, and since then he's been in a massive scoring streak, scoring lots of goals in the French league, which has led to some comparisons to Arsenal legend Thierry Henry. Now, do I think Arsenal could get Calvert-Lewin in real life? Probably not. On FIFA, definitely could. Gouiri has also been linked with them in real life, and I don't think he'd actually be that expensive in Premier League terms. I think he'd get good value, and he's got good potential as well. Also quite quick, which would mesh well with the Arsenal style of playing we're going to have a quick look at now. So before we get into who's playing where, let's have a look at the general tactics that Arsenal use. It's going to be a 4-2-3-1 with your left defensive midfielder playing as a central midfielder. You're going to have wingers instead of left and right midfield. You're going to press after possession loss with 4 and 6. And you're going to play possession attack with 5 and 8. If you want to put instructions on, your goalkeeper should probably be a sweeper, both fullbacks on overlap, your defensive midfield on go forward, so your central midfielder on stay on the edge of the box, your attacking midfielder on roaming, left and right midfielder coming back to help out defence, cutting inside and getting in behind, and then your striker needs to be getting in behind and staying forwards. If this seems like it's a bit too complicated, don't worry, I've posted them all in the description, so check that out instead. Just want to say a huge shout out to White Noise on my Discord, who does a lot of tactics. He's a moderator and he's a top man for sharing this with me, so yeah, go thank him on my Discord, join it if you haven't already joined. So let's have a look at what the team's going to look like. So we're going to have Leno in goal, and then left back Tierney. A centre back I would go for Ben White and Danaya. Right back Max Aarons. In central midfield we'd have Partey as the defensive midfielder and Guimaraes alongside him. On the wings, Saka and Aubameyang. Ødegaard in the middle of those two, and at striker we'll go for Gouiri. Ideally that's how I'd line up in my first season of career mode. If you've got any suggestions for other players that you'd put in there, or you play in a different way, please do let us know in the comments, because more help the better, and hopefully it will get some people started to bring Arsenal back to where Arsenal fans say they belong, at the top of the Premier League. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you had, I'd love to see a thumbs up on this video. It's always nice to compare and see which one of my team guides gets the most likes, so if you're an Arsenal fan, why don't you try and make Arsenal #1 this year and beat Manchester United, who beat you last year. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.